Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAM Network. Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman in studio this afternoon as we are set for the FCAC postseason to officially get underway here in the fall. We have got the boys soccer quarterfinals coming up this afternoon. And Kev, let's not waste any time. We're happy to welcome back a good friend of the program, the head coach for the Danbury Hatters, Coach Anthony Howard, as they are getting ready to take on the top-seeded Richfield Tigers later on tonight. Coach, thank you for taking time with us. Let me start just by asking, what's the preparation been like on game day so far?
Kind of usual stuff, really. You know, you kind of go through the little nuts and bolts, kind of, free kicks, set plays, any bits and pieces that you have to specifically be concerned about with opposition. But other than that, trying to keep the boys relaxed and try and enjoy the night, really.
Coach, Kevin here. First off, congratulations on clinching a spot again into the FCAC postseason as an A seed. And really, we mentioned it throughout this season when we had you on. Seedings are out the window at this point. This is anyone's tournament. Your team at one point was on the outside looking in. Look at this month of October for you guys. These last 2 weeks in general, you guys were able to tie Norwalk, tie Trumbull. Oh, and by the way, you also beat Greenwich 1-0. What has it been about this Danbury Hatters team in the month of October?
Well, I said to the team early on, every team goes through little ups and downs. And obviously we started off a little flat, and it was really installing a bit of belief. And we were a bit beat up early on, but confidence just grew at the right time. And you're right, the last 2 weeks essentially have got us into the playoffs. 2 weeks ago, a bit more, we didn't look like we were going to have a chance. But we dug deep, and having Felipe Alves come back into the squad as well after a long injury. I think he missed like 6 or 7 games. That was a big plus. But the boys are confident. We're undefeated in 6 or 7 games, so we know it's going to be a real tough game. I mean, Ridgefield are essentially the favourites, and so they should be. But we're confident that we're going to go out there and give it a good go.
And you mentioned Felipe Alves missing a bunch of time, but this player in general has meant so much to this team. So great in that center defensive midfield area. So great defensively on the ball, but he's also been known to be able to drift up off field and be able to be a scoring threat. What has he meant to this Hatters team this year?
Well, yeah, he's meant a big deal. I mean, he last year he was centre back. He's played, centre midfield this year. I've even played him centre forward. He's such a versatile player, but on the other side as well, he's a tall kid. He's a big kid. He's physical. He has all the attributes that you'd want from a high school soccer player. So, without him, it was tough. But having him back in the side, he is a leader out there, along with David Melanthio and Chris Sari. The three of them have been good this year, and having all three of them on the field is important.
Well, Coach, let's turn our attention now to the task at hand this evening. And you've got the #1 Richfield Tigers on the schedule. You guys played earlier this year on September 15th. The Tigers won that game 2-0. What's the biggest difference, you think, between the Hatters of then and the Hatters of now? You guys hadn't scored a goal yet at that point in the season when you first met.
No. Well, that's the big turning point. And I remember when I saw you guys last at Brian McMahon, we were still struggling to score goals, and we struggled again that night. But we've been a little bit more positive on the ball, and trying to make the most of the few opportunities you get in these games. And tonight's going to be no different. We're going to have to take our chances against a very strong Ridgefield team tonight. And we need a little bit of lady luck on our side as well. But I think we're a different team. I hope we're a different team. We're certainly more positive in our outlook than we were going into the game last time. So, fingers crossed, get a little bit of the rub of the green, and who knows.
Coach, for tonight's game, how do you get past this Ridgefield defense? Because they haven't allowed a goal rarely in any games. They've had 9 shutout games. Meanwhile, how do you also stop JT Ciano? This is a team that heavily relies on one of the top strikers in the conference, 18 goals in 12 games. How do you get by their defense, and how do you stop JT?
Yeah, you know, JT's a special player, and in my opinion, he's the best player in the league this year. You know, he needs attention, no question. But personally, I'm not a big believer in giving anyone too much attention, because I think it can kind of throw you off your game plan a little bit. And at the back, yeah, they're big, they're strong, they're experienced. But they will give up an opportunity, and that's you know, we saw them last time, and they were very good defensively. But we did have, you know, one or two good opportunities to score, which we didn't take, and you know, that's going to be the difference tonight. We of course we need, you know, JT to have a little bit of a down day, and we've got to hope that we can get past their back line. You know, how we go about that, exactly the same as we've been doing the last 2 weeks. You know, get ball in areas that are going to give us opportunities to either, you know, make something happen ourselves or force mistakes from the opposition. And that's going to need to happen tonight, I think.
Coach, you guys made it all the way to the FCX semis last year. You lost a very tight game against a very good Trumbull team in that semifinal. How do you build off that experience now and translate it into the 2017 postseason? What do you want your players to remember from that experience?
Well, yeah, I want them to remember that, you know, anything's really possible. You know, last year Trumbull and Greenwich were, of course, outstanding, but as you saw in the semi-finals, the second half we played fabulous, and it really, that springboarded our, you know, season and our run going into the States. And that's what we've been reinforcing. You know, yeah, we are the number 8 seed. Yeah, we're playing, you know, the best team in the league, but you know, people didn't really give us a chance against Greenwich, you know, a week or so ago, but that just so happened to go our way. Yes, we had a little bit of luck and whatever else, but anything can happen in these games. You know, the pressure's going to be on them. No one outside of our school is expecting us to win tonight. So I hope that we're a little bit more relaxed, and that can help.
And Coach, you guys get to travel to Richfield, to Tiger Hollow, where it's not too far away from Danbury. You guys are crosstown rivals. What are you going to say to your team when you guys get to Tiger Hall right before you guys take the pitch? What's the message going to be to the team taking on the #1 seed Richfield Tigers?
Well, for me, the message is going to be, first of all, enjoy it. You know, it's going to be a great occasion. It's a great stadium against a good team. But for me, you know, don't have any regrets. You know, come off the field knowing that we've given it 110%. Give it every bit of effort. Of course, mistakes will happen. That's part of high school soccer. But you know, don't have any regrets. That's all I want to say to them.
All right, Coach. Final question for you here. The Danbury Hatters soccer program, obviously a storied program. 7 FCX championships all time, but you guys are looking to break a 20-year drought here since 1998. What is the biggest key to success for the Hatters postseason run this year, in your opinion?
Sorry, say that again, Kevin?
The biggest key to success for the Hatters this year, what is it going to take for you guys to break this postseason drought you've got going on?
Yeah, thanks for reminding us about the drought. I appreciate that. You know, for me, the biggest key is really just keeping the confidence high. You know, it's high at the moment, as it should be. And if we can go on a little run from now to the end, it's only going to increase. And for me, that's the key, just keeping the guys confident. And again, if we manage to pull off a big win tonight, who knows what could happen. But it's certainly there for us. You know, we've given ourselves a chance. We're in the playoffs, and I think you guys are going to be in for a very, very interesting tournament. I can guarantee you that.
We certainly expect it to be a lot of fun. I'm sorry I had to remind you of that drought, Coach, but if it's any consolation, just remember that Kevin is rooting for Ridgefield tonight.
That is not true.
Coach, it's always a pleasure having you on. We want to wish you and the Hatters best of luck tonight. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Good luck, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, gents. Bye-bye.
That was Coach Anthony Howard of the Danbury boys soccer team. And he said it best, Kevin. We're in for a treat with this boys soccer tournament. It is very wide open, and we have a lot of interesting matchups across the board here in this first round.
I think every single matchup we're going to see tonight is going to be some of the best soccer we're going to see all season long. And tonight we're going to see Ludlow and Trumbull. I guarantee that's going to be one of the best games we've seen all season long. All 4 matchups are wonderful. It's going to be a terrific night of boys soccer. A lot of drama. I think a lot of close matches. I don't think we're going to see any blowouts at all. All these teams, all 8 teams are going to give it their all.
It'll definitely be a lot of fun. We're going to have more on the boys soccer tournament later on in the show, but when we get back, we dive into girls volleyball a little bit. We had a huge matchup yesterday from New Canaan with immediate playoff implications. We'll break that down more when we get back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
We know it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all, from Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and find us at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the Jeep Celebration event and Ram Power Days. Now through October 31st.
At Black Horse Garage, we fulfill all your sports car needs. We specialize in manufacturer-recommended service and aftermarket high-performance parts and installation. We have one of the nation's top storage facilities and offer a high-end collision department that understands your need for detail. Visit blackhorsegarage.com for more.
The Kitchen Center offers quality cabinetry and affordable pricing. Visit our showroom for a free consultation with our professional design staff. For all your other home improvement needs, visit Northeast Building Supply, our full-service lumberyard and window showroom. The Kitchen Center, a division of Northeast Building Supply, 1470 Barnum Avenue, Bridgeport.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
We know it's your busy season, and that's why Walter Stewart's Market is here to make things easy by offering the best of autumn under one roof. Walter Stewart's Market is your local one-stop fall shop. There are so many seasonal flavors to savor, and Stewart's has them all, from Blue Jay Orchard's local cider donuts to Vermont Farmstead cheddar and all of your favorite varieties of local apples and pears.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Thank you again to Coach Anthony Howard. We switch gears now, though, and take a look at girls volleyball in the FCX. We had a huge matchup yesterday afternoon at New Canaan High School. Number 6 Staples taking on the number 8 Rams. The Wreckers, a win and they're in type of situation. New Canaan had number 6 Staples and number 7 West Hill looming on the calendar. Realistically, winning one of those games was going to get them in as well. The Wreckers end up winning this game 3-1, Kevin. I think we saw some jitters from a Rams team that's in a little bit of unfamiliar territory right now, having been down for a few years, but this game certainly from start to finish had a playoff-like feel to it.
It really did have a playoff feel. You know what? I got to tell you what, Frank. Carson Alstead, one of the best performances I've seen all season long. New Canaan may have lost the game, but for me, one of the best single-handed performances I've seen. Her and Emma Wheeler, the setup those two have, unbelievable. And it's unfortunate because I do think that this New Canaan program is up and coming. And you know, Carson Alstead, I can't say enough. What a great performance. But again, Staples continues. They're 2-0 with us showing up.
They are, yeah. I think that Coach Kevin Marino is doing a tremendous job after taking over in place of Kim Palmer, coming from Joel Barlow. Speaking with Coach Shepro for the Wreckers after the game, he had only great things to say about Carson Alstead and how impressed he was with her performance. The Rams still very much alive, and we'll dive into the postseason scenarios later on after this, but this is a big win for the Wreckers, and this is a scary team, in my opinion, Kevin, heading into the postseason. The big thing right now they should be concerned about, they're currently matched up against Ridgefield. They have the possibility of moving up in the rankings. We'll take care of that more in a second, but first, let's look at the highlights from the Wreckers' victory yesterday afternoon.
Kevin Marino. That can't happen.
So the senior captain, Trollstra, is serving for the set. Wheeler's going outside. Alstead with the shot. And the rally's still alive. Not for long, though. She found that one at the net. No, I'm sorry. Over the top and they are giving the point to the Wreckers, and they will take the set as well, 25-17.
Nice serve.
Good dig by Yang. Third ball's got to go over. Great shot by Yang that time. They come to Perino. It falls, and the Rams respond. 25-18, and we are tied at 1 heading to the third. It is set point for the Wreckers. Again, Bella Siskin coming up at a huge moment in this match.
Head coach John Shetbro showing a little emotion there, getting off the bench, pumped up for his team, knowing he's only 1 point away from going up 2-1.
It'll be Mallory Legg to serve. And that one into the net. The Wreckers take set number 3. They have a 2-1 lead.
See if she can help her team extend the lead here.
Alstead gets one to fall as a Wreckers miscommunication cost them a point and the lead.
Great setup for Amanda there. Able to get the big point. Staples got to focus here. Get this W.
The senior serving for the match. They're going to Alstead. Too strong, and the Wreckers are going to the FCAC tournament. So Staples with the win into the postseason. They are back there again after having a tough loss last year against Stanford in both the FCAC and the state tournament. They won't draw quite that kind of a powerhouse this time around. We caught up with their captain, Amanda Trollstra, after the game. Let's hear what the senior had to say after they got the victory and clinched a postseason berth.
Thank you, Frank. Here with Staples Wreckers' Amanda Trollstra. Amanda, congratulations on this wonderful game. And you guys played so well down the stretch. You guys win that first set, lose the second set. What was the mentality after that second set after you knew Kane was able to tie the game up?
We just knew that we had to hustle for every point and that no point was going to come easy.
And I saw you favoring that right hand a little bit. Did you just jam your finger? How's your finger holding up?
Off of the outside block. It was a very strong hit, so I had to.
No, clearly the chemistry. Clearly the chemistry is strong with this team. What has it been like playing with this team this year?
I really enjoy it because we have a lot of underclassmen, so it's really fun times.
Now you guys are in the tournament with that win. What are you expecting come playoff time?
We know that we're going to be up against really tough teams, so we just got to push it every point, every game.
All right, Frank, back to you.
So a lot of fun for the Wreckers afterwards. Our first official post-game shower, Kevin.
That was interesting. She wasn't expecting that, I can tell that. But I could tell just from that happening, the chemistry is clearly there. It's strong. I mean, Vanessa Eng, not only was she great defensively, she means so much to this team as a leader, as someone around that team to be the voice really before, after, during games to get the chemistry up and going. And you know, this team looks like they're having a lot of fun, especially down the stretch, which is important.
Ang made a couple of plays yesterday defensively that just should not have happened, and I stand by. I think she is the best defensive player in the conference, just so important to this Wreckers team at the libero position. So we mentioned Staples is now in 6th. Let's take you through the postseason standings and what can happen. All right, clinching 1, 2, and 3, they are set. It goes St. Joe's, Greenwich, and then Ridgefield. They are locked in those spots. St. Joe's will play Staples again on Friday. Greenwich is out of conference. Ridgefield gets Ward. Now, in 4th place, you have Danbury, 5th place, Trumbull, and Staples in 6th. Danbury and Trumbull will play against each other, Kevin, on Friday afternoon. If Danbury wins that game, they will be locked into the 4th spot. If Trumbull wins that game, they can move up into 4th. Danbury would fall to 5th. Okay. Staples, sitting in 6th, can take over 5th place with a Trumbull loss and a win against St. Joe's. They can go no higher than 5th, though they cannot pass Danbury. That takes care of the top 6 for you. West Hill, Stanford, and New Canaan now. We mentioned the Rams and the Vikings are playing. Stanford lost to West Hill. New Canaan lost to Stanford. So that's that tiebreaker scenario there. Here's how it works out. West Hill is in with a win or a Stanford loss. Stanford gets in with a win or a loss and a New Canaan loss. New Canaan gets in with a win. So have you kept up to...
Wow.
I needed a calculator, an abacus, a lot to put all of that together this morning.
Is that why you're here bright and early?
That is why I was in the office at 7:30 this morning. Listen, you know that I have absolutely fallen in love with girls volleyball, especially in the FCIAC. I think it's so competitive, but the way this season is coming down to the wire is only fitting. I really believe that Stanford will get in. I think that just based on tiebreaker scenarios, if there's a 3-way tie, it works out in their advantage because they have the best quality win. New Canaan would be an interesting team in that tournament to me, and West Hill. You're talking about programs that are having tremendous years and are really on the rise right now and could do some damage against a St. Joe's team that has been so good, but do you really want to go into that tournament on such a long win streak?
Well, you look back to when we saw them against Danbury, Frank. While they've had a great season, I can see why this team can be a little vulnerable going into the first round against a team that, listen, doesn't have a lot of pressure on them like a New Canaan, like a West Hill, or maybe even a Stanford. Could you imagine Stanford and St. Joe's matching up together in the first round? If I'm St. Joe's, I have to be very nervous going into that game against Stanford. If
the two teams in the tournament are Stanford and New Canaan, Stanford becomes the 7th seed. Do you think Greenwich wants anything to do with Andrea O'Connor and the Black Knights?
Not at all. Not at all.
Danbury, you mentioned before, that's a very interesting team. I love the work that Megan Mercer is doing. What a tremendous year this has been for them. They are definitely hoping to clinch that 4th spot because you know they want another shot at the Cadets in the semifinals.
Well, they do, and I think that's the team, and they have the mentality to do it. And you go back to the game we saw them in a couple weeks ago, I thought there were times that Danbury actually outplayed St. Joe's at times. And if they can really, figure it out come playoff time and get red hot, especially in the tournament, and go up against St. Joe's, this could be the team that could cause an upset. And how amazing would that be for that program? Maybe in a semifinal, heck, maybe even in a final, they could beat a St. Joe's in a final and take home a crown.
Look at what Brian McMahon did last year. We know that a lot of special things can happen in this tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll keep you up to date Friday on how those games play out and what the final 8 will be. Quarterfinals start on Monday next week. We're going to step aside one more time. We get a couple more things to touch up on, like fisticuffs on the pitch in girls soccer yesterday. We've got more coming up next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
Bankwell combines the best personalized service with high-tech banking features for our customers' convenience. We pride ourselves on being a strong community partner. You don't settle for average in anything else you do. Why settle for an average bank? Don't just bank when you can bank well instead. Visit mybankwell.com for more. Manfredi New Canaan is celebrating 3 exceptional years selling Rolex watches and fine jewelry to the Fairfield County community. We appreciate all our loyal clients and look forward to welcoming and helping you discover the perfect gift to celebrate life's most important occasions.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
We're back on the HAN Network. We look at girls soccer now. 7 of the 8 positions were filled yesterday for the postseason. Heading into the matchups, one game would determine the 8th and final seed. Wilton and Ludlow squaring off from Lily Field in Wilton. And squaring off had multiple terms yesterday, Kev, as we had a couple of girls in an altercation late in this game with the Warriors leading big. 2 Wilton players ejected, 1 Ludlow player ejected. What happened in the parking lot afterwards, we're not going to get into right now, but let me get your thoughts originally here. These girls, the emotions in this game, how this all played out, what your thoughts are on this.
I understand. Emotions run high. This is that time of year where this is essentially a play-in game. And for Fairfield Ludlow and for Wilton, a game that these two, right from the get-go was very physical. And I think it got to the point where, 2 players didn't like what each other were doing. And it happened right by the Wilton sideline, too, right by the Wilton bench, Fairfield Ludlow bench, excuse me. And emotions are running high. And it happens. It happens in every sport, not just soccer. It happens in football. It happens, you name it, what sport, it happens. And, 2 players started swinging at each other. And I have to, when you're a teammate of someone, you want to stand up for them. And when a teammate like yours gets knocked down, I fully understand you going in and defending your teammate and going in. But to cost your team like that, and for Lindsay Groves and Paisley Egan, they will unfortunately have to sit out this next game going up against #1 Staples. And that's not going to be easy for this Wilton team. And it's disappointing, but at the same time, I think you have to understand that emotions were really running high. You stand up for your teammates. But again, I think it's just unfortunate. And it didn't need to come to this, but you have to understand that, I like how you step up for your teammates like that. You have each other's backs, but to throw punches, I think, was a little extreme for me.
Look, I'm not going to defend it as a former high school coach as well. I would never encourage players to go out and try to get into an altercation, specifically a physical altercation with an opposite team. But again, you're right. I understand the emotions surrounding this game. It's a playoff atmosphere. There was a lot being put into this. Whether you misinterpret getting tangled up or something being done intentionally, that's for you to decide. Right. I respect the teammate coming over, a captain, mind you, coming over and looking to defend one of her teammates. So you're right. Unfortunate now you've got 2 girls down for a big matchup in the quarterfinals against #1 Staples. For Ludlow, you're going to be missing a girl in the state first round. So. But that's the way it plays out, so that's interesting. Let's get a look at the girls' soccer standings here quickly. And, Kev, any games that you might think stand out in this first round here?
I'm already looking at the 4-5 matchup, Ridgefield-Darien. I think Darien's having a terrific year for the Blue Wave. Ridgefield, a little bit of a slide. They lose to Fairfield War, on their last day of the regular season. That's an interesting matchup. I think Darien matches up well with Ridgefield. Ridgefield's had a great year, considering what they lost in graduation last year to a defending FCAC champion, but I think this is a Darien team that could easily beat the Ridgefield Tigers. I think this is going to be one of the closer matchups that we're going to see in this tournament.
The 2-time defending champions not with a very easy draw here, especially with Staples potentially looming after round #1. For me, it's the 2-time defending runner-up, St. Joe's McMahon. Yep. Is a great matchup in my opinion, and I think if there is an offense in the conference that can give the Cadets a run for their money, Kev, it's the Chloe Ortolano-led Brian McMahon Senators.
Chloe Ortolano is having a great season for the Brian McMahon Senators, and you look at that, but at the same time, St. Joe's has one of the best back fours you're going to see in the entire conference, maybe even in this entire state. This is a very loaded St. Joe's team in the back four. Only 1 loss, 4 draws. This is a good St. Joe's team, but yes, this is a tough battle going up against #7 Brian McMahon, who, they have the talent. I don't, if maybe they could have fixed maybe those 4 losses, turn them into draws. Who knows? Maybe they slide up to maybe 6, 5, 4. You never know. But Brian McMahon, I thought, had a really strong year. So yes, I agree. I think this is a tough matchup for St. Joe's. But at the same time, I don't know who's getting past this back four.
We will see. Cav, we've got boys soccer tonight. Fairfield Ludlow hosts Trumbull at 7 o'clock. You can see it right here on the HA Network. We'll be on the air at 6:45 with our pregame show. Just quickly before we're out, Kev, your thoughts on what we should be watching for tonight?
I think we're going to see probably easily one of the best matchups we're going to see, the 4-5 matchup. These two teams are so equal, 1 point apart from each other to end the season. And for Ludlow, one of the best defensive teams you're going to see in the conference this year in boys soccer, along with Richfield Tigers. Those two teams only allowed 10 goals allowed this year. So the Ludlow defensively has been extremely strong. I like them in the center midfield. You look at Chris Gerald and Kieran Kilbride. Those two are so technically sound in the midfield. And then for Trumbull, I think if I'm Ludlow, you have to look out for Jason Weinstein. He's having another terrific year. And again, only a junior. This is a Trumbull team that's very experienced in this FCI tournament, coming off a co-championship with Greenwich. I think this is going to be a very tight game. I think it's going to be maybe a 1-0, a late goal winner. I can't tell you who's going to win it, but it's gonna be a very close match and a fun one too.
The best part of today, I can tell you that someone is going to win. No more are the 0-0 draws.
That's right.
Kevin and I are on the air at 6:45. We'll get you caught up on the games from earlier in the afternoon and get you ready for our live coverage of Trumbull and Fairfield Ludlow in the boys soccer FCI quarterfinals. Thank you again to Coach Anthony Howard. Good luck tonight against Richfield. For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. We'll see you next week back here on Nutmeg Sports on the AJM Network.